am going to give you 5 ways on how a dispatcher can get paid. And I'm going to rate those different ways on a scale from 1 to 5. Welcome back to another episode of Free Game Friday, where we come to you each and every Friday with free game about business. Our niche of focus is, of course, transportation, but we do give relevant information to any business owner. But before we go into what I'll be talking about today, make sure you hit that notification bell and subscribe to our channel. Again, we drop videos on Fridays about business. Let's talk about how dispatchers get paid. How do you get paid? You know, it's a B2B business. It's a business doing business with another business. So how are you getting paid? Dispatcher manages freight arrangement for a carrier or owner operator. This includes, but is not limited to, booking loads, negotiating rates with brokers, filling out broker carrier packets, some back office. It's a lot of things that dispatcher does for an owner operator on their behalf, but those are just like the general ones that I just mentioned. However, as an independent dispatcher, you are a business owner. You have your own business. You set up your LLC for your dispatching business, right? Okay, once you vet a carrier, in that carrier dispatcher agreement or contract should be a lot of terms and conditions. Also, it should be a section on payments, right? And in that section, you're gonna emphasize how much percentage they are to give you per load and how you should receive those funds. When it comes to getting paid as a dispatcher, you got to understand that you are a B2B business, meaning that you are a business doing business with another business. That's exactly what a B2B business is. It's a business to business. We invoice our carriers on a weekly basis. It depends on when they start with us, when their payroll cycle ends. So if they start on a Thursday, their payroll is going to be Thursday to Wednesday. You always want to include your rate confirmations with your invoice. So if you're working on a pay period from Thursday to Wednesday, you're going to include all the loads that were ran, the rate confirmations for those on the back as supporting documentation. So we already know you send the carriers your rate confirmations as you book the loads, right? But when you send your invoice, you're going to send them those same rate confirmation again. I don't care that you already sent it when you booked the load and they should have it anyway. No. That's not how you do business. You want to send it again with your actual invoice, okay? So when you go into invoicing them, just attach all of those to the invoice for that pay period, you know, simple. Okay, so I am going to give you 5 ways on how a dispatcher can get paid. And I'm going to rate those different ways on a scale from 1 to 5. All right, so the first way that a dispatcher can get paid is through an ACH wire. So you can invoice this carrier on a weekly basis and tell them, hey, this payment is due on this particular day, and they can go into their business account and set up your ACH wire. Now, I would give that, say, a 3. You know, they're setting up that ACH wire, but it's all depending on that carrier. You know, that carrier may not be as consistent with going online and setting up this ACH wire, or that carrier may not be tech savvy. It can be a lot of different factors, and you're basically relying on them to go in there and set up that wire for you to get paid on that particular day. This is why I say a 3, because it's a good way to do it, and it's still got a lot of, you know, what if. And a lot of times when you're starting off dispatchers, you're dealing with owner operators, not just a carrier, owner operator. So they own their vehicle and they operate it, you know, so they might not have time because they're out here driving or exhausted or whatever to actually go in and set up your ACH wire. So the second way a dispatcher can get paid is through Zelle. Zelle is pretty much the same situation. It's the same thing as the ACH wire, because you can't they can't automate the process. It's not like they can go in there and set it up and it automatically goes in there every week, because your amounts are going to be different every week. Unless you're a dispatcher that charges a flat rate every single week. You might be like, hey, I dispatch you this and all you gotta do is pay me $500 a week. I don't do that, but you know, there are some dispatchers out there that does that, and they can go in the ACH wire and have it automatically set up to where it sends you this amount every single week. I'm not sure if you can set up recurring payments in Zelle. Pretty sure you probably could, but don't quote me on that. But that's just in case, you know, you charge a carrier a flat rate. And more than likely, you're not going to charge them a flat rate. You're going to charge them a percentage based off of each load. And when you charge them a percentage based off of each load, it's not going to be the same amount every single week. So every single week, they have to go in there and set up that ACH wire or that Zelle payments manually. This is why I give it a 3. Well, I give ACH wire a 3, and I will give Zelle a 3 also. A third way that a dispatcher can get paid is PayPal. PayPal. So PayPal is a great form of payment. You can actually go in PayPal and create an invoice, and that's why I do like PayPal. I would give it a 4. I'll give it a 4 because PayPal, it can send reminders for you. It can send the invoice directly to the email. PayPal, I would definitely give it a 4. That is a great way for a dispatcher to get paid. The fourth way that a dispatcher can get paid is Cash App. Definitely giving that a 1. If I could give it a 0, I would. Cash App. You're a business owner, okay? I own a business. I do not want you to be Cash Apping me for payment. If I set up an agreement with you, a dispatcher carrier agreement with you, I emphasize in that agreement how you're going to pay me based off of your company, based off of when I vetted you and what we talked about, right? So why would you try to Cash App me for payment? No. Let me give you a prime example. I was working with the owner operator, and it came time for me to actually give him the invoice for the first week. Sent him the invoice, he sent me a text. This particular carrier that I was working with, he actually didn't factor, which I didn't kind of like anyway, but I went on ahead and still, you know, worked with him, right? Because he told me, he was like, hey, I don't need to factor. I'm not hurting for money, so I don't factor loads or whatever. So I'm like, okay, cool. You know, you do what you do. So I sent him the invoice. As soon as I sent him the invoice, he texted me. I tried to send the money via PayPal and it's not accepting my card or something. What's your Cash App? Let me Cash App you. Huh? Oh, no, that's not what we agreed upon. You know, you can go send it through Zelle, you know, or you can actually do a wire, but you're not Cash Apping me. So that's why I give it a 1. I'm a business owner. I don't want my payments via Cash App. I'm sorry. Like, seriously, that's like, to me, that's not a paper trail. I like paper trail. I have a master's degree in accounting, and if I don't do anything else, if I don't know anything else, I know black and white overruns anything. And I'm not going to be looking at my business bank statements and it's a Cash App for dispatching services. No. That's not enough for me. So he ended up having to go and send me an ACH wire. And from there on, that's how he sent his payment, which I still told you is a 3. I really don't like that way, okay? But Cash App is another way that a dispatcher can get paid. Now, to each his own, you know, this is your business, this is how you want to do it, but I wouldn't recommend that, okay? The 5th way, and the best way, in my opinion, my opinion now, this is the best way for a dispatcher to get paid, and that is via a factoring company. Best way. So let me explain it to you. when you're vetting these carriers, that's a question you're going to ask them. Do you factor your loads? If they say yes, guess what I do? I say, okay, who's your factoring company? They tell me who their factoring company is. I contact that factoring company and say, hey, do y'all onboard dispatchers? And if they tell me yes, I'd be like, okay, cool. And you go ahead and onboard with them. So that is the best way. The best way. Definitely a 5 out of 5, okay? Because every single time that carrier factor a load and get funds, get paid, you are going to get paid as a dispatcher as well. So what the factoring company does is take that percentage out of the amount that the carrier factored with them, right? And they're going to automatically send it to you via your accounts, because you give them your business account information and all of that. That is the best way. Every time the carrier get paid, I get paid. So if he's factoring loads and he get paid, I don't have to worry about them sending me my money at the end of the pay periods on my invoice date, because it's automatically done through the factoring company. That's awesome. I love that. Now, let me just say this. That doesn't mean that that invoice that they send you is applicable to the invoice that you should be giving the owner, operator, or carrier. And when I say that, it's meaning that they don't factor their loads. Sometimes carriers do not factor their loads consistently. Some they might factor right then, some they might factor 3-4 days later. So it might fall within a whole different pay period. Just because you're working through a factoring company as a dispatcher, you still want to make sure you send that owner operator an invoice at the end of the pay period for those 7 days, okay? So those are the 5 ways that a dispatcher can get paid. Now, again, you can do ACH Wire, 3 out of 5. You can do Zelle, 3 out of 5. You can do PayPal, 4 out of 5. You can do Cash App, 1 out of 5. If I can give it a 0, I definitely would. And factoring, through the factoring company, 5 out of 5. I definitely recommend you doing it through the factoring company. But like I said, sometimes they don't factor loads. They say they're not hurting for money, or that's just another percentage taken out of their, their money. So then I would suggest PayPal if that's the case. So the top 2 for me is definitely going to be a factoring company or PayPal. And if you are interested and you just researching and trying to get a feel of what a dispatcher does and how much they make and all of this, and you're interested in actually becoming a dispatcher, I have a detailed course, very, very detailed, and I'm actually talking to you on video like I'm doing now with a PowerPoint presentation of all of the information to actually hit the ground running and become a successful dispatcher. It's called Dispatching 101. Even if you're already a dispatcher and you feel like you're lacking in some ways, this course is still applicable to you. If you want more information about it, or if you actually want to go ahead and register for that course, go visit our website. I will put the actual link below. And also it's called www.fullcoursemenu.com. Thank you guys for tuning in for another episode of Free Game Friday. Don't forget to hit that notification bell and subscribe. And we'll see you again next Friday.